Good morning, sir.
Are you up and at it over there?
I'm up and at it. How about you?
All right, welcome back to the channel. We are back in bulldozer world today, aren't we? Mr. Tucker's a little under the weather. I've been to the auctions. You guys probably seen the auction videos. I bought 7 dozers and a backhoe and some stuff at the auction in Pennsylvania. Anyway, we've been getting stuff in there a few days later, and I've been going through this stuff. I usually don't film much of this because it's usually just quick in and out, but Mr. Tucker's been going through this little 450, and I noticed at the sale it had some throttle issues. So it was kind of idling really low, like almost killing the motor, and it wasn't revving all the way up. I thought, well, and the deaccelerator pedal was not working properly, so it was kind of stuck. The only thing that was kind of working is a hand throttle. So if you guys don't know, there's a deaccelerator pedal, so that's wide open now. You can push that down to deaccelerate the engine. So we got it working, but we still have a couple issues going on with the pump here. There's actually stops on the pump, and when you push it down, it will almost kill the motor. When you go back to the high idle here, it's against the stop, but it's only turning probably what, 1800 RPM, when it should be turning probably around 2200 or so. And so I could adjust this. We shouldn't have to. It should be set from the factory, whoever's had this pump off. The other issue we got going on here, this thing is leaking oil out the bottom. I know it's gonna be hard for you guys to see. I'll get you up in here. It's leaking oil. You guys see that oil right there? I think the aluminum housing is cracked. Somebody's been in here before. I can see some paint off. This timing mark's not perfectly in line. I think the aluminum housing is cracked. So before I go messing with the throttle, something is going on inside there. I don't think I'm gonna do an adjustment. I think we're gonna pull this off and see. I think that housing may be cracked. If that's the case, there's no sense messing with that.
I didn't realize how small that was.
What's that?
That pump.
Yeah, it's an injection pump.
That's tiny.
So I believe that's a DB. Got a seal on the front of here. I'm gonna call Kurt once we get this off and see if that's something, if they have good housings, if that's cracked, or what's going on there at Area Diesel Service. First thing we need to do is probably get this pulled up, because it could be broke down for a few days, week or two, while we're waiting on a pump or whatever's going on. So we're probably gonna pull it up here, Tucker. We're not gonna use this area of the shop. We'll kind of show you guys what's going on with it when it's running here, and then we'll get the motor on time on #1 top dead cylinder. There should be a timing pin that goes in this hole here, if I remember right.
Top dead cylinder.
Top dead, what did I say, cylinder? Center?
Top dead cylinder.
Anyway,
I mean,
you know what I mean. So we can turn the engine over right here, and we'll verify we get it on #1 TDC. There should be a hole down here too that we can use. That'll pop in the flywheel, if I remember right. We'll get her pulled up here, and I'll walk you guys through it. I believe we'll have to pull a gear off the front of the pump here. So this is a John Deere 450G. This is actually a later one. They made these from 88 to 2000, and 98 to 2000 they used a newer, the PowerTech engine. The big way you can tell that, these will have a serpentine belt. So this is actually the same motor they used up into the mid 2000s. So it's got the newer fuel pump and that kind of stuff on. It's gonna be different than like the 97s and back. So let me get this screen off here. All right, Tucker, you want to start it up?
I don't want to start it wide open.
No. Well, I'll show you. I'll push that on the low idle. You guys can hear it's idling too low. You go wide open. That's not nearly high enough. It's got some issues going on inside of it or something, so you go ahead and pull it on up. Not fine. How many hours is on this? 4,000?
Pretty much.
Right at 4,000 hours. Go ahead and put the blade down.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I don't know what I'm doing.
Safety first.
I don't know what I'm doing.
All right. we'll get some stuff cleaned up here. We'll get some dirt off these covers.
It's too old for my knowledge. I don't know how to run it.
Somebody's been in here recently because there's no dirt on those bolts, and these are clean. I think somebody's been in here and messed it up. See back here on this motor, I took out this plastic plug. Where'd that go?
This?
No, the plug out of the back of there. Anyway, there's a plastic plug that fits in here. And it looks like that. I popped it out already. So you can put an engine turning tool in there and turn that flywheel. I'll give you guys a part number. I had an old one. We actually tore it up on the last John Deere excavator we went and recovered. But this is, everybody makes these. This is a Blue Point made by Snap-on. There's a part number for you if you're looking for it. But this is actually made for a Cummins engine for the B and C series 3.9s and 5.9s, 8.3s. But it also works in a John Deere, so some good information there. It can fit a wide variety of things. So
you need a 1/2 inch ratchet?
That's 3/8. Probably want to get extension and
I don't know if you can get it.
look at him over there stealing my tools out of my toolbox.
It's mine now.
Oh, you didn't? Did you give that to the Napa guy?
Yeah, I did.
He broke his 3/8.
Napa doesn't have long handles.
Tucker got some Napa ratchets and it was broken already.
Oh,
So we're gonna turn that engine over. There's a hole right here. We got some 5/16 bolts. What we're gonna do is they actually make a timing pin that goes in there. We're gonna hold our finger on there, and when that pops in, then we're gonna verify, see if this pump's lined up. If it's not, we need to rotate the engine another 360. So if it pops in there and we're not lined up there, that means we're on number 4. If it pops in lined up there, we're on number 1. So I like to put everything on number 1, top dead center, so she's good when comes back from the injection pump shop. So
are you wanting me to push it in there?
Yeah, you can.
Do you even know where it's at, or you just?
Nope, you gotta hold it in. Crank away till you pop in. I'm gonna shut these people off. They pop in about a 1/4 inch when you hit it, so.
Probably not.
You guys can see he's turning that over very slowly. You got a lot of gear reduction there.
Got impacts. I know that's not good for it, but.
Well, that might have been how the old one got tore up.
Oh.
She just popped in, I heard it.
Of course,
Clicked.
you weren't recording.
I was not, I was talking to myself. All right, we got some weird stuff going on here. Tucker got that spun over and that bolt in there, and looking for the other timing mark in the pump. So this is a window. This is just a blank hole. There's usually a plate right here. I took that out thinking, well, maybe there's a pin that went in there. I don't even have the book out on these, but usually in this style pump, there's a window in there and you can see 2 timing marks on the governor wheel. Thinking, well, they've changed something. There's nothing in there that times it. I actually got the book out while I go and looked, and lo and behold, it's supposed to be inside the pump. I'm like, well, this is not making any sense. So if I look on the other side of the pump, I know you guys can't see. Guess what's over there? There is a plate that comes off in the window. I have no idea why it's on that side. Somebody has probably changed this pump. That pump's probably made to sit on the other side of the engine on some other kind of application. It's the only thing I can figure. And somebody's put the wrong pump on here, which is probably explaining a lot of stuff. Because I'm even looking at this throttle linkage that they've bent some stuff. I think this stuff is supposed to be sitting over here. If I'm seeing things right, I think this is all backwards from what I'm seeing right now. I think all this stuff should be on this side. We might go out and look at another tractor and verify, but I'm gonna try to weasel out. It takes a little 1/4 inch wrench, I think. Get that out. We get a mirror behind there. I don't know if I can get you guys in there and see if our lines are lined up. If our lines are not lined up, then we gotta turn the engine another 360. So, not sure what somebody's done here, but we're gonna see if we can't figure it out. All right, I got that plate off the back, so that's supposed to be on this side over here, if you can imagine that. And there's a window in the back side. Don't know if I can get you guys in here where you can see or not. But, can see that in there. I got one mark, but I do not have two marks. So the governor weight's in there. We got one mark. It's not lined up on it. So looks like we're gonna have to spin the engine over 360 degrees where we get two marks. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there on the left of the screen, we should have a mark that pops up on that here in a second. So I'm gonna crank that over. We'll pull our pin back out here so it's not in the flywheel, and crank that over. And hopefully when the pin pops back in, I did put a mark down here so I can verify it gets closer and get ready to hold that pin in. So I'm gonna crank that around. Hopefully we see some marks show up on the pump. All right, we're getting close. I'm gonna hold in on that bolt. There, just popped in right there. Now, we get our mirror. And there's a train. I think I see a mark. They're not perfectly lined up, which would not surprise me. I get some better light. Bunch of black crap in there, like the governor weight or something's coming apart too, which is not good. Yeah, I don't see that. It's not real good at all, unless it's out of time some. Kind of concerning. And the governor ring could be coming apart or something too. So another thing we can do is check number one top dead center in the valve cover, but I'm gonna spin this around here and see if I see a mark roll through here. I'm gonna put you guys down so I can see what's going on. I'll find a mark, I'll bring it back in. All right, I found the marks finally. I had to rotate it back around 360. Oh no, if I get you guys in there, such a pain. That's not right. But there's a mark on the left side of that wheel, a little dot that lines up with that line. But here's our issue. That's lined up, but our pin is not dropped in, and my black magic marker marks off about 3/4 of an inch. So it tells me that the pump is off time. I'm gonna run this around, and that little dot's gonna leave the window. Let me go back the other way here. That dot's gonna be misaligned about an 1/8 inch right now, about a 1/4 inch. All right, that popped in. At least that verifies our engine is in number one top dead center. That mark is now at the top of that hole, so this pump is not timed perfectly to the engine. But we do know that that pin dropped in the flywheel. We should be on number one top dead center for our piston. So that's the main important thing. You don't want to go off that mark. That's more important right now. So this pump, so there is adjustment in this. These holes are slotted. Somebody has marked this in the past, and the mark's not perfectly lined up either. So you can actually swivel that pump a little bit. So feel good about that. It's getting late here. It's actually the end of the day. I'm gonna take off and be back in the morning. We'll get that pump off there, and hopefully we can see where that thing's been leaking, and try to figure out a game plan from there, whether we get that one fixed. If that housing's leaking, we either need to find another pump, or if Air Diesel has another housing that's maybe set up for this left side of this engine, we'll try to go that route. So we'll see you guys in the morning. All right, back at it here again this morning. Tucker's taking off the feed line for the fuel. We're gonna start getting some lines unhooked. I'm gonna take this front cover off. I believe there's a nut on here we'll have to take loose, and probably put a puller on there and pull the gear.
These are tight.
Those are usually just snug because there's a rubber seal in there. So Now the 4 injector lines, they'll be tight. All right, got all the lines off there. We got this front nut right there on that injection pump gear. Tucker's gonna get it busted loose. So that should just be a tapered shaft in the nut. We'll get a puller. Come loose.
Way looser than I thought.
You got all excited, didn't you?
I thought it was gonna be tighter.
I still got the engine locked in here so it wouldn't spin. All right, we'll get a puller rigged up there. We'll have to pop it off that tapered shaft. Then we'll take these 3 bolts loose here. All right, so that pump has 2 threaded screw holes in it. We're gonna put this little puller on there with, we'll thread a couple of these bolts in there like that, and then we'll put that center pin in there and hopefully pop that off. So I'll let you do the honors, Mr. Tucker.
Which 2 are those gonna fit on?
See these 2 little holes inside there?
Oh, inside of it?
Yeah. See that gear? It's got 2 holes right next to that shaft.
Mm.
Yeah, just like that.
Is this piece gonna fit in there?
Hopefully. Just need to make sure when you thread those bolts in there, get them in the same depth on so we're pulling square. Just need to thread them in there about a 1/4 inch or so.
Space is out.
All right, got the puller and 2 bolts. Puller is pushing on the center of the shaft. The 2 bolts are on the gear, so we should hear a little pop once you get that tightened up there.
I need a rasher in.
Yeah, if you can get it on there. It's kind of tight quarters. Is that it?
Already?
All that work for nothing, huh?
Wow.
Sometimes they're stuck on there really good, so. All right, we'll get all that off there. This same 1/2 inch wrench should take these loose here too. Probably actually 13 millimeter, that's a little snug.
Get it off.
Some fuel coming out. All right, there she be. I'm gonna try to show you guys the timing marks. You can shine that light up in there, Tucker. You guys can see that dot. I don't know if I can get it to show up on camera. That dot's at the top side. Yeah, kind of right there. That should be lined up with that pointer. So obviously out of time a little bit when it got taken off. So I forgot, but these have a little weep hole right here. If you guys see that little black hole, that's where that oil was leaking out of. So somehow oil, I don't know why there was oil leaking out of the hole. Apparently this seal is bad letting oil back through there, because he's running oil. That's what keeps them cool and everything. So, but that was oil, or oily, thick, fuely mix or something running out, wasn't it? It was pretty much black oil. So that tells me that this seal out here is probably bad, letting oil back in. So there's a seal there and a seal there. This one keeps the diesel fuel from going into oil, and this one's supposed to keep the oil from going into diesel fuel. So, and I see a lot of black matter in here. There's actually a governor flex ring, I believe, that goes bad on these and they come apart. But definitely needs to go see our friends at Deere Diesel Service. There's some other things going. If that governor ring's messed up, that may be what our RPM issues are going on there too. So somebody's had this off before. It's been hammered and beat on, and it's probably been rebuilt by somebody. I'm not sure what was going on with it or why. So the funny thing is, I looked this part number up that's on here, and it come up as a factory pump for this machine. So it's kind of weird. I just thought the window should have been on the side. Somebody could have rebuilt this pump and put this tag, swapped it back over, and used a different housing pump too. I don't know. So our friends at Deere Diesel Service might be able to tell us more on that. So you want to take a couple fittings off here so they don't get damaged. We'll take that off too in transport here. So what's happening?
Good morning, sir.
Are you up and at it over there?
I'm up and at it. How about you?
Oh yeah, we're on a different time zone than you guys, I guess.
Yeah, you get an extra hour every day, don't you?
I don't know how that works.
Yep.
Hey, I got this Stanadyne, I guess it's a DB4 pump maybe.
Okay.
Come off this John Deere, and it was leaking oil out the weep hole on the bottom.
Okay.
And the thing would not probably rev up over about 1700, and when you go to idle, it would probably almost kill the motor. Somebody's been in it, somebody's monkeyed with this pump before.
Yep.
And the timing was off on it. And it looks like somebody's beat it with a ball peen hammer, but somebody's rebuilt it some pump shop somewhere, I'm not sure, at one point in time. But what's weird about it, I think it may have a different housing on it, I don't know. Like the throttle linkage is on the wrong side, which is okay, but the inspection window, you know, to line the timing marks up, is against the block too, which is doable with the mirror. Everything's backwards on it. All right, talk to Mr. Kurt there at Air Diesel. He's going to take his pump and they're going to go through it and see, curious to see what's going on, why that housing's different, not right, and all that good stuff. So I believe they're going to do a video on their channel, so we'll try to get some clips here and figure out what's going on with it. When we get it back, we'll be back. All right, while we're waiting on Air Diesel to work our injection pump over, I actually contacted them. You guys have been watching my videos. This HET, the water pump was leaking on it. And we took the water pump off in between videos, and lo and behold, I called them. They had the seal kit in stock and sent us some stuff here. So we got new water pump seals. That's the one thing that's wrong. The bearing stuff's all good on that. So we got new seals and O-rings. We're gonna get this thing put back together here. So the one seal seals the water basically out. Then this other one seals the engine oil, because this is a gear driven. This side runs in oil. So we're gonna get her put back together here. Yeah, I don't know. The water pump seal, we're putting a little anaerobic sealer on here just to help out. They got some sealer on here too. That's what that pink stuff is, but this will help if there's any imperfections, or this is the one that seals the water out. All right. And snap ring pliers for that. For that, there's some in my toolbox.
Oh, you're trying to pry against it?
I'm trying to get it to
Go in that groove.
It's almost bigger than a hole. Got it.
Goes over here.
Okay. Depth on that.
The thing leaks like no other. I don't know why.
Loctite.
A little completely down. There's probably a torch spec for that.
Probably is. I think 4 Ugga Duggas was good. Feels good. Alright, now we gotta put.
Oh, you got a new one?
Yeah, we got a new O-ring for this. I don't trust this thing, it could be warped, so we're gonna do a little extra measure. This thing's plastic. Or some kind of plastic.
Why would it be plastic?
I don't know. It was a pain to get out, so we beat on it a bunch. So I'm gonna put this anaerobic sealer on there.
What's that clip go to?
It holds this on. We need the big monster pair.
The one that snap?
Yeah.
That is stupid. Oh my gosh, this was saved me so much. Probably need to turn those things around, don't you? That would have been a lifesaver.
All right, we're gonna glue this back O-ring in. Big shout out to Area Diesel Service for sending those seals. We're gonna get that put back on there. And while we're doing that, they're gonna be sending the pump over to us. All right, we're back on the 450G. You know what that means, don't you? Area Diesel hooked us up with a pump, I hope. There we go, look at that. That looks like John Deere Farm Yellow.
John Deere yellow.
So over in the box, we gotta throw a couple fittings in it. So, if you guys don't know, we've worked with Area Diesel a ton of times in the past. You guys see their banners always hanging up in the wall. If you guys need anything, injection pump, injectors, turbos, engine rebuild kits, gaskets, whatever, you need to contact those guys. We got 3 locations: Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa. Their main location is in Illinois. Kurt is who we deal with. They're super nice guys, super good.
Are we the Indiana branch?
Well, they were the Indiana 2.0 branch.
Oh, okay.
So definitely check those guys out for any of your needs and that stuff. They actually did a video on this pump. I'll link it down below in the description. And so originally it was leaking oil out the bottom, and the RPM governor is kind of messed up. And I guess they figured all this stuff out, that somebody else had been in there and maybe didn't quite know what they were doing. Ruined the seal and they installed it and some other stuff like that. So anyway, those guys did an awesome job. That thing's still wet, that's how fresh it is. Did an awesome job, went through it, got her all set back to specs. I think he said it was set at 15% over, so you know what we did? We left it alone.
That's right.
So this dozer is probably around 74 horsepower, so whatever, we're in the
75.
No, we're in the 80s range now. So a little backstory, they make a 550G, and the only difference between a 450 and a 550 is 10 horsepower. A 450G long track is the same as a 550G, it just has 10 less horse. So now basically we got a 550G. How you feel about that?
Let them ponies ring.
All right, we got to put a couple things back on here. Looks like they gave us a new check ball fitting here. I took all our stuff off. So yeah, right down in there. This thing's kind of famous. If these pumps start going bad, this little check ball gets clogged up. They actually gave us a new one of those, so we'll take that fitting out of there, put that stuff on. Got our solenoid wire, goes under that lug there. And I think we should take this little window off and make sure they got it timed correctly. Remember, this pump's kind of all backwards. That's supposed to be over here. I think somebody swapped the housing and stuff around, but we'll take it off, verify that she's timed and all that goodness. All right, get the light over here. We got this turned, got that little dot lined up with that timing mark in there. We did have to turn that to get that lined up. We'll probably leave this cover off and make sure we don't turn that when we slide it in. We do have a static mark over here too, right there, that we can double check. So we'll just leave her open there and get her slid in. Let's scratch up all this nice new paint. So we got to line that keyway up on the gear. Just like that. And our timing marks are lined up. We'll have to verify that back one.
And get you a mirror.
Yeah. What's our timing mark look like on the back side? Are we close? Yeah.
Yep, it's there.
Mr. Kevin's in there. Got the line and the dot still lined up. And we have, you guys can see, mark on the pump, and there's a mark on the engine block. We're really close on that. You remember when we took this off, that mark on the inside was off about a 1/4 inch, but we'll get this pump tightened down, and then we'll put that front nut on that gear, torque it down, and we should be good. So if you need to turn this a little bit, you could. There's slots in this here. You can turn that pump a little bit to get the mark inside there is the more important one to get lined up. So this is more of a static timing. So remember, we still have the motor on number 1 top dead center sitting there too. So we'll get that snug down, torque down that front nut, get our lines and all that stuff put on there. Are you doing good work?
I'm trying.
So we had to, we got that front nut tightened on there, and it spun the injection pump about 1/8 inch. So we had to loosen up the bolts, clock the pump to get those timing marks lined back up. I see yellow paint coming off everywhere, bub. Taking caps off.
You have that.
We're gonna get the fuel line, throttle hook back up, then we'll try to fire this old girl back up here. All right, Mr. Kevin got all the lines on. We're adjusting some linkage and stuff. Remember, I had this all messed up. We've got the throttle working here on high idle. Went right past the stop here a little bit. So air diesel is set to high. On low idle here, we just have to hit that or just a little bit past it. So when he was hitting the decel pedal, it was still kind of, we've not started it, but it wasn't going all the way down to idle. So he's adjusting a stop over there. Yeah, let off of it. Now push down. That's like, it's probably 50, 75 RPM. Yeah, if you can go a little more.
Oh, I got plenty of 30.
Okay.
I got this bolt cranked all the way in.
Yeah. Somebody's been adjusting on things, trying to compensate for that pump being messed up, and it was all internally. You can't override what these screws are set here on that stuff, so without adjusting those screws, but that's when you need to let the professionals get involved. We're clearly not professionals.
Call somebody.
Try that, Kevin. You didn't need much. Yeah, you're all the way there. Yeah. All right, we'll try that. We're gonna crack this line up, go over the transfer pump, pump it up, and try to get some fuel up in there. Got this little tickler here in the pump. You ain't coming out, Kevin?
No way.
We pump that tickler over there. All right, we got fuel there. We might crack this return line loose and make sure we got our coming all the way up through there. Bubbles coming out.
Don't feel like it's catching much here.
You're pumping bubbles. They're trying to fill the pump up.
Don't feel a whole lot of resistance in it.
It's a pretty good sized cavity to fill up. So you gotta fill all this up with fuel. It's what keeps it cool and lubricated.
There it goes.
All right, that's good. She's full now. All right, are you doing the honors over here?
Yep.
You got juice disconnect on? Let's give her just a little bit of throttle. Give her all throttle. Until she hits. Might have to crack the injectors. Let me crack. What size were those injector lines?
11/16.
Turn the key on again, make sure this is clicking.
It's got fuel up the pump now. It feels different what it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got resistance against it now.
I'll crack 3 of these. It's easy to get to. You only need a 3-cylinder, right?
Yeah, yeah. As long as you don't mind the shape.
Go ahead and crank her a little bit. Alright, well, I got fuel squirting on this one good. Go a little bit more. Alright. And still probably air in the lines, but it might be enough to get it going. Well, you don't worry about fuel in the tank. All right, try it now, Kevin. She's starting to smoke. Battery's getting low. Try it one more time, see if it hit. Get the charger up. And try it again. We got the charger on her now. Well, it's interesting. It's smoking but not firing.
Not getting fuel, or what's the deal?
No, it's got smoke coming out the chimney. It means it's getting fuel, but interesting. Try it again. Give it about half throttle. It should have started. You try it a little bit. Make sure. See if it starts up okay. We'll try it again. Rev it up. A lot better, don't it? Shut her off. Well, I'm not really sure what's going on there, but so the thing wasn't running right. Didn't want to start. It got it started, but it was still missing out. So originally we lined the timing marks up in the window back here like you're supposed to, but she was not happy. So we went back to where it used to be, where they had it, and they had a mark chiseled in there. So it's putting those marks off in the window off, but our static marks are on, and it's happy. So we're gonna call that good. I'm not sure what they had going on.
We don't ask questions.
Don't ask questions. She's running good. I'll probably take it out and make sure she's got plenty of power and everything.
She's full of tacos.
We're in the middle of the adjustment too, which makes me think that we're somewhat doing a good job, right?
I think we nailed it. Yeah.
We're gonna back it up. Hunter's gonna change oil on it, and we'll take it outside and make sure she's all right. Put it in second. Blowing through the brakes in second. That's third. I think it's alright. That's third gear there. Second. Third. I think it's fine. They usually only go through the brakes in second. Alright, so I don't know if you can hear me there. He's putting the gravel pile to spin the tracks in first and second. It will blow through the brakes in first and second. Starts to in third, which is kind of normal on the torque converters machine. So I'm saying blowing through, it's got more power than the brakes can hold. So that's a good way I test them out at the auction. I feel like the power's there on the pump and all that goodness. So big shout out, Harry Diesel Service, for saving the day again. What do you think?
Good job.
2 thumbs up. All right, we're gonna have Mr. Andy wash this thing, get it all cleaned up, and we'll put it up on the sale, or put it up on the front lot for sale. So you guys notice there's some extra plates and stuff on there. This used to be an ex-pipe layer machine, so I bought it at the auction. It already took all that stuff off. So it's one reason I jumped on it, because it's got 4,000 hours, but it's low hours for pipeliner dozers. So what do you think?
The Get Her Done edition.
It is a Get Her Done 450G. Get it? Series IV. All right, well guys, appreciate you watching. If you like this video, do us a humongous favor. Go down below, hit that thumbs up button. It helps us out tremendously. If you want to see more cool videos, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. So
yeah,
till next time, we'll see you guys. How much air was we getting there?
a couple inches.
Does the ranch arrow do this?
Yeah.
You're just cutter hard. You'll make it.
No. I don't. This feels weird. I feel like I'm driving a similar.
It feels good. It sits good.
I'm gonna hit the building.
No, you won't. You got her.
Okay.
It's pretty cool looking.
Stomp on it or what?
Yeah. Just
Get her straight.
Stop and then gut stop it.
There's a little delay before she kicks on.
It's like a trans brake.
Yeah. I think you got to do it better.